Hello everybody, welcome back to Ten of All Trades. My name's Cameron. Today's project is a laser cut map of the US. A little bit of background on this project is two of my closest friends have been together since Sunday school, and they've always had the life goal of visiting all 50 states together. I told them if they ever got married, I'd make them a wooden map that they could fill out with pictures as they traveled all of them. Well, they've been married for a few years now and have 2 kids, but you know, better late than never. Anyways, let's get on with the build. This entire project was designed in Inkscape, which is just a free vector editing software. I started off with a file I found online, which is just a vector outline of each state, and then I went into each of them and used a tool called Offset, which created this nice perfect 3mm border around each of them. Then wash, rinse, repeat that 50 times. This map's going to be about 4 feet wide, and my laser only has a 16-inch cutting area, so I'm going to have to chunk each of the states into 8 different groups and then reassemble them at a later point. My laser works off a 3-color system, with red and blue being vector cutting options, and black being a raster engraving or drawing option. So I then had to go through and label each of these lines either red or blue, with red being cut all the way through and blue just being a light engraving. And then again, wash, rinse, repeat that 8 times. Lastly, I took the outline of the entire map and broke it down into the largest possible pieces, which ended up being 6, and gave them some nice puzzle borders to help with gluing up. And finally, it was time to get cutting. While the laser's running, I'd like to take a moment and thank everyone who's watched the channel so far, and especially to those who have liked and subscribed. I really want to grow this channel and continue to improve, so please do me a favor and drop down below and hit a like and subscribe for me. And let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see me build, or if there's anything you think I could be doing better. I'd really like this channel to become much more of a dialogue. Anyways, thanks, and back to the build. With the laser wrapping up, the next step is going to be assembling the backboard, which I'm going to be putting together just using some CA glue along the seams. I'm not particularly worried about squeeze out or aesthetics for the backboard, since the entire thing is going to end up covered by the end of the project.
So if it's not painfully clear, I am making up all of this as I go along, and the biggest question I've put off answering until this point is, how does the actual state come out of each little frame so you can trace it and then attach your picture to it and then put it back and still keep that clean little wooden border. And I thought I had a really cool idea because I found on Amazon this stuff that's called magnetize it paint, which is where you paint something with it and now magnets will stick to that paint. But it turns out that takes like 4 to 5 to 6 coats before something will barely stick to it. I got 4 coats on here, which now the magnet, it hardly sticks. It doesn't hardly accomplish anything. And I was talking to Alyssa about this, and she said, why don't you just use a little bit of double-sided tape? And I'm like, well, that'd be too simple, too smart of an idea. And I'm like, well, if it was taped in there, how would I get the states out? Because I was thinking with the magnets, I could just use another magnet, stick it to the front, you could just pluck the state off with a stronger magnet, which I thought would also look cool. But then we had the simple solution of why not just put a little hole in the back, and you could just pop, and your states come out. Just a little double-sided tape, put your picture on it, and so that's kind of confirmed that this one is going to be the one we keep, and I'm going to make a new improved version as the actual gift. I'm going to fix it in the laser cut file so that instead of having to just physically drill a hole in each of these states, which is what I'm about to do to this one, just for simplicity. I don't care for this being my version if it's a little, not perfect. So I'm just going to drill out all of these states just a little bit and make it hopefully big enough you can just use your finger to pop it out. And we're going to mount it to the wall using just a picture frame string so you can make sure it's nice and level. And that way you can just lean the state forward, or the United States forward, and poke the state out with your finger because it's not that resistive, but So yeah, I'm going to try to completely recreate a better version of this in the next 48 hours. Wish me luck.
As I just mentioned, this paint didn't work, but I had already committed to painting the background of the map before I had finished my test. But it doesn't technically ruin anything, so I'm still going to finish it out. And here we have the completed version 1. I'm still really happy with how this turned out, and I wanted to go ahead and see what it looked like with some pictures on it, and show how that would work. So all I do is have to lean the map forward, pop out Georgia there, and the first option is to take the state, lay it over your picture, and cut it out with an X-Acto blade or a pair of scissors if you're really good with a pair of scissors. This works great, if not a little time consuming, but for my map, I'm going to be a little lazy and use the laser to cut out the photos. And I'll also give my friends the option to do this if they want to just send me the pictures. With version 1 being completely finished, it was time to move on to version 2. The only real difference being that the background wouldn't be painted and that it would have all of these holes pre-cut into it so you could easily pop out each of the states. My project manager decided to make an appearance and give me some critiques on my editing, the main point being that it would be better if he was in it. We all gotta work for someone, right? Okay, seriously, Maggie, I got work to do. But you are cute, though. It was about now I realized I missed one state. That's okay, who cares about Missouri anyways? And I definitely didn't have to Google a map to even realize which state that was. But anywho, this hole glue up went a lot faster than the first one without having to paint the background, and I think overall turned out looking a lot nicer. As I stated earlier, I really am making all of this up as I go along, and after I got all the states taped in and started moving the map around for pictures and videos, several of the states repetitively kept falling out, and no matter how much tape I put on them, they just wouldn't seem to stay in long term. So I thought about a better solution than the tape, and I realized that if I laser cut out a circle that tightly fit into the hole that I had cut out in the back of the map, and then glued it on to the state on the front side, it would hold everything in without the need for any adhesive. So I cut out about 100 circles off camera and glued them on to each individual state, and everything ended up staying in place really nicely. And here we have both finished maps. I'm really happy with how both these turned out, and this honestly might be one of my favorite laser cut projects of all time. I really can't wait and see both my friends and me and Alyssa get to travel all over the country and fill up this map as we go. This is a project I really wouldn't mind revisiting and maybe doing some different versions of. So if you have any ideas on how this could be improved upon or made differently, please drop a comment below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next build.